this show on the road. Let's set up. Woo! Alright, we are setting up and we are ready to go. Alright, that's sounding really good. Okay. Wait, was that someone in already? Hello to Donks. Welcome in. We are just getting set up as we speak. How are we all tonight? Alright, let's get this done. Alright. Alright, that should be working now. Hey yo, alright, we are in business. How are you, the donks? I hope you're having a good night. Alright, let's get this started. We're not going to stream for very long tonight. We are just going to... I've been missing Twilight Princess. I've been playing a lot of Tears of the Kingdom, and I've been watching other people play Twilight Princess, and I've been listening to the Twilight Princess soundtrack. I forgot how laggy this is. But we haven't really been able to play much Twilight Princess, so we don't want to do Snow Peak Top. We want to do let's go North Farron Woods. That's going to be our best bet. I've just been so excited to play Twilight Princess because we haven't been able to do much as of late. Alright, let's go. Alright, first things first, we are going to get straight into it. We're going to go to the Forest Temple. Does he say anything as your wolf? I know he does in the HD version, but I don't know if that was added in or not, because I could never talk to him as a kid. Oh, wait. Oh, no, that's just the jump button. Oh, wait, no, I saw it. I saw the Z target option. Ah, you can still talk to him. I've never been able to get that to work in the 2D version before. Whoa. That just froze for a second there and my heart almost threw up on itself. Alright, let's continue on in the Forest Temple. So, previously we couldn't move much in the Forest Temple because we didn't have the Gale Boomerang. Oh, hey also Soup, welcome in. How are you? Oh, right, we have Uku. Excellent. Yeah, how are you also Soup? This is a completely random surprise stream. I was literally just sitting on my lounge thinking, I want to play some Twilight Princess. Why aren't we doing that right now? And I realized there was no good reason to not do it right now, so... we're here. Alright. Oh, hello. Hi Placehold. Hi Working and Lurking. Oh, I hope you don't get in trouble. Please don't get in trouble for, lurking while working. But that's awesome. Good to have you. How is work going for you? There we go. Alright. So there's quite a few rooms that we do need to now look at now that we have the Gale Boomerang. So there's quite a few chests that need to be taken care of. And quite a few little bits and bobs as well. As well as that, a whole new area, believe it or not. Ooh, I still don't like the way that that's freezing. Alright, let's go. So fun fact, you can actually break this bridge completely. So hang on. Lock, 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 And in case you're wondering, it makes a Z for Zelda. Or a Z for Zelda, depending on where you are. Alright, there we go. That had such a... Oh my god. That had such a build-up too. That's so funny. Now that we can actually cross by it, we can actually completely break this bridge. There we go. I didn't want to do that while we were having to go back anyway for the, no, we don't need to go that way. I didn't want to do that while we still had to cross it, so... But you can completely break that with no rhyme or reason. Alright, let's go. We're going to continue on through here. Go away. Alright. Now, while we could cross here before, there are certain things on the other side of this door that we couldn't do. In fact, pretty much all of it. So that's what we're going to do. Let's just... excuse me, game. There we go. Oh, okay, hang on. I didn't realize I didn't kill them in one shot, so I'll show it off. Wait for it. Oh, come on. Normally they get so angry at being shot that they actually try and run to hit you and they end up falling off the cliff. It's kind of funny. Alright, let's go. So this inevitably leads us to the final-ish room of the dungeon. We're obviously not going to do that straight away. We're just going to do the parts with the monkeys in the chests. Oh, right. Wrong way. Let's just climb up before the spiders even notice we're gone. I feel like that's the best thing to do here. Also, if I sound a bit more raspy than normal, just ignore it. Yeah, if I sound a bit more raspy than normal, just ignore it. I think I'm getting sick, which in all honesty is terrible timing. I start my new job on Tuesday, so if I get sick, I'm gonna be really annoyed. Alright, there we go. So everyone, please manifest me not getting sick. I don't think I actually have to beat any of those. I think we can just sort of yeet. Yeet a bit faster, please, Link. That'd be great. Alright, let's head off to the other room. Again, this is not going to be a long stream tonight. This was just purely because I just really wanted to see if there's anything of value in the forest temple. So we're probably not even going to take a break. We're probably, just going to stream for like an hour and see how we go from there. Alright. No, I don't want to light my torch at them. Let's go. Excellent. That's so much fun to do, honestly. Alright, let's go. What's here? Oh, hello. Excellent, there we go. I love that animation. To me, that was the coolest thing that this game is, like, that the Zelda franchise had done. Up until that point, I was like, damn, okay, Link's smooth. There are way cooler things. As an adult, there are way cooler things that the Zelda franchise has done. But as a young teenager, I was like, damn, that's cool. That's smooth. A lot of people list Twilight Princess Link as kind of one of the more blander links, and I can't possibly understand that. He is honestly one of the cooler links. There we go. Alright, monkey is free! Nice chest shot. Excellent. Alright. Rude, come on. There we go. Alright, now we've got a chest that we need to locate, which is on the other side, of course. Duh. Alright. Anything important here? No. Okay. So far, it's looking like this entire forest temple has much of nothing in here. This is the final room, if I'm correct. No, that's the wrong way. This is the final room, if I'm correct. But we'll double check that. Okay, yeah, this is the final room. Alright, we're going to come back here just because we are still missing 3 monkeys. And we won't be able to get through the entirety of this dungeon without all the monkeys. Which is, in all honesty, kind of frustrating. But that's fine. So, let's talk about the forest temple for a little bit. Not only is it probably one of the better ones that's called the Forest Temple, I actually really like this dungeon. The concept of having helpers throughout, like the monkeys, is super cool. I love the idea that the dungeon is only completable with these monkeys. And these enemies, that like these beings that were seen as enemies or at worst, and you know, annoyances at the least, by the townspeople, are actually the only way that Link is able to complete it. That's really cool. What I also really enjoy is the aesthetic. Up until then, we had never seen a forest temple look quite so cozy and warm. Again, this constant freezing is kind of freaking me out a little bit. There's a sign here. Did I read it before? Oh, yeah, I did. Okay. So, yeah, the forest temple, it looks like it belongs in the... It looks like it's been claimed by nature, but in a good way. The forest temple was an abandoned... Like, the Ocarina of Time's forest temple felt like an abandoned... Oh, are you kidding me? Felt like an abandoned place with creepy pose and everything like that. Absolutely. But aside from the garden section, it didn't really feel too terribly foresty. Again, I'm probably spitting unpopular facts. But it didn't feel all that foresty, really. Are you kidding me? It snatched me from all the way up there. That's so annoying. I didn't even fail the jump. Alright, fine. Let's get our bomb bag out. Yeah, so it was haunted and had some really cool lore on it. Of course that didn't work. But apart from the outdoor section, there wasn't really anything foresty about it. Hello, Snacky. Welcome in. It's good to have you. Happy Sunday. I hope you're having a lovely, cozy night. We won't be streaming for too terribly long, but I just really wanted to play through the Forest Temple, if I'm being honest. But yeah, the Forest Temple really had, like the Ocarina of Time's Forest Temple, really had nothing inherently foresty about it. Not even the boss or mini-boss. Don't quote me on that, I don't actually remember what the mini-boss is. What is the mini-boss? Oh, it's all the pose, right, yeah. not particularly foresty at all, if I'm being honest. Okay, that's the one that we wanted to cut out the way. Excellent. Did I never rescue the monkey up here? That seems like an oversight that I never actually rescued the monkey. But sure, okay. In fact, the fact that the Arbiter's grounds became where the Poes were and had the whole Poe mechanic honestly makes way more sense to me than a forest situation. The idea of the 4 Poes and all of that makes way more sense in a desert situation, especially given the lore of the desert. The Forest Temple, don't get me wrong, again, it's a cool dungeon. I'm not arguing that. A lot of people really, really love the Ocarina of Time's Forest Temple and get really annoyed whenever anyone says anything even slightly negative about it. So, I can assure you, it's a good dungeon. But it's not particularly. There's nothing about it that's foresty apart from the fact that it's in the forest. And it's cool to subvert the genre every so often, but we had never really seen a forest temple that gave a good reason as to why it's a forest temple. Again, I'm not sure if I'm making any sense. But I love the fact that this is so... You look at it and you go, oh yeah, this would be a forest temple. The Ocarina of Time Forest Temple, for example, you wouldn't really look at it and go, yeah, it's a forest temple. So this one being so very clearly and very correctly a forest temple, yeah, I love it. The vibe is immaculate. Like, you have these you have the wooden architecture, but you have all these plant-like enemies. Like in here we had the Deku Baba, the big old Deku Baba with the bomb sort of muncher attached to it, the like. And the likes have this more wood fantasy. You have the spiders, which, you know, admittedly terrify me, but they are very accurate to the theme. Alright, cool. How are we missing monkeys? They're no longer appearing on the map as they should. Okay. Whatever. So yeah, you have all these things that are intrinsically very foresty. The monkeys add to the vibe. The music is quite cool. All of it... Rude. All of it just adds to an amazing forest temple. In fact, again, this could be a very unpopular opinion. I don't know. Or it could be something that not many people would agree with. But this reminds me so strongly of the Woodfall Temple of Majora's Mask, which was also a forest temple that I think really did... It wasn't even supposed to be a forest temple. It was supposed to be a swamp temple. Go figure. But it... Rude. Really encapsulated a foresty sort of theme. Especially with a Dolwa, the boss at the end. Why are the monkeys gone? Where did the monkeys go? Am I stupid? I might be stupid. Am I missing something? Alright, now come back to me, monkeys. Let's go. Come on. We're going to ignore the fact that there were clearly only 2 of them and now there's 4 of them. But come on. Alright. So the Woodfall Temple very much encapsulates a foresty theme, despite the fact that it's not technically a forest temple. You get the drift. But this is possibly the best example of a temple that's clearly meant to be a forest temple and nails the sort of forest feeling. And yes, we could say Great Deku Tree and all of that. Really? Great Deku Tree is mid at best, and we all know it. It's a very good starter dungeon, but its purpose is to be a starter dungeon, and that's it. That's that monkey down. We should, in theory, have completely cleared this room out, because this was the mini boss room. I think we got everything in here. Yes, we did. Excellent. Alright, in that case, we need to make our way back to the beginning room. Alright. Are you kidding me? That didn't work. Maybe it's just scripted not to work the first time. I can't remember. I have a feeling that actually is the case. There we go. Alright, while that's happening... we have a new game, but that's just started. Again, it's our very basic, very classic starter. Heads or tails, everyone? Get those guesses in. Heads or tails? Let's go this way. If for any other reason than the fact that I think this is the only way we can go. Alright, let's go. No heads. Did I not put... oh, right, I thought you said not heads. Oh, I thought you said that there was no heads option, and I was like, no, I'm fairly certain I put one in. That would have been really embarrassing if I didn't, let's be real. Alright. How are we going? Tails is 100% winning. Wow. Wow. Okay. Anyway, let's continue on. Oh, whoa, that just changed. 5,000 in heads, 3,000 in tails. Wow. Let's go, everyone. You've got 3 minutes to get that in, by the way. Also, if you're questioning as to why I keep looking over here, I do have my chat open here, but I have the actual stream on my phone, and it is just sometimes so much easier to read my phone. Alright, let's go back. Where am I going back to? I don't remember. This way. For some reason, I also tend to get lost here sometimes. In theory, I know my way around very well, but I do still sometimes get lost. Alright. So, we were talking about the forest temple in particular and why I think this is a fantastic and possibly the best forest temple in the series. Let's talk about the rest of the temples in Twilight Princess. Because Twilight Princess, minus 2 dungeons, has probably the strongest temple roster of any game. Oh, okay. Bear with me, everyone. Thank you also, Soup, for redeeming Bad Time. I appreciate it. Let's go. I just saw that. Let's go. Whew. Meow, meow. Meow, meow, indeed. Alright, let me get that set up. We are moving to Bad Time for an attempt. Alright. Let me pull up chat. Thank you also, Sip. You are single-handedly getting me prepared to fight Sans. First of all, I've got to beat Undyne, but that's a whole different issue. Alright, thank you for redeeming your 3,000 points for Bad Time. If anyone doesn't know what this is, we are going to take a crack at the Sans fight from Undertale. So let's go. I think that's the best I've ever gone through the opening attack, let's be real. Jumps. Oh. Okay, that was possibly the worst I've ever done on that. Maybe I should have healed. Oh, jeez, I should have healed. Okay, we're gonna heal. Alright. I'm hoping you can hear the music. The music's so worth hearing. Excellent. These are the platforms. I'm decent at the platforms on this side. Ooh, I say that and then immediately get hit. It's the opposite side platforms, which is about to happen, that I'm really bad at. Ah! Okay. You see what I mean? I'm really bad at it. Oh, hell yes, what a brilliant distraction. Hello, Ducky. Welcome in. No, I don't want to check. How do I go back? Fuck. Okay, we've got to do this one. Deathless. Right. That was possibly the worst run we've had of that so far. But thank you so much also, Soup, for redeeming some points for that. I appreciate it. Alright. If you want to see more of that, please feel free to feel free to redeem some points for that. That is 3,000 points in our point store. Thank you again, also Soup, for that. Alright, we're going through the forest temple. Hello, Ducky. Welcome in. I'm glad to hear that this is an awesome distraction for you. I'm assuming I know the distraction, but... Alright. We are essentially in our final stages of the forest temple. We have our last monkey, essentially. You smashed it. Thank you. I smashed speedrunning the death. Got it within like three rounds. How excellent. Alright, let's do this. So we've got one monkey, one chest left in this temple. And then we also get an item for beating the dungeon. We are hoping to see... That sucks. We are hoping to see a classic ball and chain or upgraded Dominion rod or something in a chest moving forward. That's not the claw shot. Oh well. We're doing it the old-fashioned way. And once again, if my voice sounds a bit rough, please just bear with me. I've been traveling a bit and I think my throat's just given out from that. Wow. There we go. Alright, let's go. Come on, up you hop. So, as I mentioned, I start a new job on Tuesday. Exciting! Woo-woo! I am very keen for it. And there we go. And I get to, I'm spending tomorrow sort of getting ready for my new job. I am very poor at the moment. Not to put it too plainly and too bluntly. Your girl's a bit poor. So, normally what I would plan on doing is, I have a little ritual that I do before my first day of work, either coming back from holidays or from Christmas break or something like that, that I would usually endeavour to do for the first day of a new job as well. And that is, excellent. I like to treat myself. I like to start the new day or the new year or, you know, the time, like the new set of work after my break or whatever with, you know, just feeling nice and refreshed and relaxed. So usually I get a massage. Slingshot. Excellent. Kind of made redundant by the bow, if I'm being honest. But sure, I'll still take it. Why not? It's an item. So, yeah, we, normally I do like to sort of treat myself with a massage and a pedicure, and I get my eyebrows done, and I get my, you know, my eyelashes done. I like to get my eyelashes tinted so I don't have to wear mascara in the morning. So much easier. Anyway, yeah, I like to do all these little things just to sort of prepare myself for just make myself feel refreshed and new for a new job. So unfortunately, I'm a little too poor to do that at the moment. On the upside, I have taught myself how to do quite a few of those things. So I'm gonna spend tomorrow having a nice little. I'm going to give myself a little foot spa, and I'm going to dig out all of my old bath bombs that I probably shouldn't be using, but I'm still going to use them and have a nice little bath and, you know, have a foot spa and a pedicure, and obviously I can't give myself a massage, but I might even go down to, you know, Kmart or whatever and get, no, not Kmart, go down to like the local shopping centre and sit on one of those massage chairs for $5. I'll go do that, and I'll wash my hair and put on a face mask, and yeah, I'm just going to treat myself. And I'm so excited because I'm also going to spend, while I'm doing that, obviously, I need something to do, something relaxing and fun to do while I'm doing all this skincare and all this self-treat. So I'm going to sit there with Tears of the Kingdom open, and I'm so excited. Can I just... Boop. Thank you. Can I just... Boop. Are you kidding me? That was close enough. So if you have any self-care or celebration suggestions that I can do at home on the budget, feel free to let me know, because I am so down for it. Alright. Let me just... Boop. There we go. I was going to say, I knew I could make the jump. I've done it before. This jump terrorized us as kids. We sucked at that jump when I was a kid. Yes, we've got plenty in the bank. Alright, let's go defeat the boss. This is another temple down. Oh, Zora armor would also be nice. If we happen to find that in this boss room, I wouldn't be mad. Not gonna lie. Now, if you're wondering what's going to happen after this randomizer, because I anticipate that once we find the, that's not what I wanted. Okay. Did that even work? I don't know. I anticipate that once we find the ball and chain and the Zora boomerang, the Zora armor and the ball of chain, in particular, things are going to start moving a lot quicker. So I'm anticipating that we'll probably be done with the randomizer within about 3 or 4 sessions, depending on how well we searching for these things goes, if I'm being honest. No, stop it! I don't want the bomb. Piss off. No, stop it. Okay. No, stop it. No, stop it. There we go, finally. So yes, I don't anticipate that this randomizer is gonna last forever. I'm anticipating we'll probably finish it within the next few sessions. So you might be wondering, what's gonna happen next? So we're gonna play another Twilight Princess randomizer, or are we gonna go back to Ocarina of Time Majora's Mask? What exactly is happening? There's a bomb in the background. It's probably not good. Is it just... Okay, let's just move out the way of that one. What? Did that work? That worked! That's so good. I I can completely cut Ook out of the process. Oh, by the way, in this boss fight, there's supposed to be the mid-boss Ook, the monkey, swings past with a bomb that you're supposed to use to wipe out the the eye. Didn't need it. Excellent. Yeah, so you might be Zora armor. Yes. Oh my god. All right. I told you that we needed it, and it happened. Look at that. Oh. Thank you, Zelda gods. Excellent. And does this net us a piece of mirror or a fused shadow? If I had to put a wager down, I'd say piece of mirror. Mirror of Twilight. There it is. That would be the one from Snowhead. Excellent. Excellent. All right. That's really cool. I was hoping we'd get the Zora armor. I wasn't expecting to get it, but I was hoping to. So the fact that it was here is kind of iconic. Excellent. There we go. As a little fun fact, you can go fishing. Oh, you can't go fishing. In the HD version, I think you can go fishing in here. No, you can. Okay. I was going to say, I know you can go fishing in the HD version because I've done it. Whether or not you're able to pick anything up, I'm not actually sure of that. I don't think you can, but I'm not entirely sure. Something that a lot of people haven't seen is that is a god-awful color for the Zora tunic. Yuck. I like the purple part. The green kind of looks vomity. You do not have the Zora armor at this point in the game. So, let's see how far down you can go. Not very. Excellent. There you go. Just in case you were interested. Yeah, so you might be wondering, what's next after this randomizer? As much as I've enjoyed Twilight Princess, don't get me wrong, this has been a fun randomizer. We are going to go back to Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask for another randomizer. And this was pre-planned. This is not because I'm not enjoying Twilight Princess or whatever. I am very much enjoying this. But, wow. Heroic bro. Yes, it isn't because I haven't been enjoying this randomizer. I very much have, apart from this god-awful Zora color. It's because we already have our next rando lined up for us. Or we will once I get it. Like, once I get the seed finalized. So, our next randomizer, once again, will be built by someone who isn't me. I am getting my lovely sister to do it. I think she knows about that. I think she knows that she's building it. She might be a little preoccupied right now, but she knows that she's doing it. So my lovely sister will be deciding on the seed for us. I just need to collect it from her once we're done here. If she's watching by any chance, I don't think she is, but if she's watching by any chance, you got bigger things to worry about in this particular instance of today and tomorrow. So focus on that one first, if you will. Alright. She knows what I'm talking about. Don't worry. Alright. So that's done. Now there are quite a few things that have now opened to us. First and foremost, let's go back to CAC. CAC's going to be our first stop. So we now have the iron boots and the Zora tunic. Next thing that we want to get are water bombs. So we're just going to get some water bombs here in a minute. I was not expecting my horse's butt to be right there, but sure. Now, before, Barnes wouldn't sell to us. And I'm not, like, Barnes wouldn't buy back our bombs. And I'm not sure if it was because we hadn't progressed in the storyline. Haha, landed on horse butt. That's it. Poor Epona. We're just gonna continuously warp on her horse butt. I wonder if... Actually, this... Stupid thing. I wonder if you can actually land in or on her if you position her just right over the warp spot. Okay, so we cannot buy bombs from Barnes. We finished the Goron Mines. We've Illyria's Illyria? That's a character from Angel. Illyria's here. There shouldn't, in theory, be any reason why we can't get water bombs. Let's go Castletown. So we just want to get some water bombs. If this was an accurate game, you would have 100% landed in poop. Absolutely. Yes. I would be smelling so bad. I don't know if, this is such a weird topic. I don't know if you've ever smelt horse poop or been close to horse poop. It's, there is no such thing as a nice smelling poop, but horse poop in particular vaguely smells nostalgic to me, but not in a good way. I don't know what to tell you about that one. In Australia, we have something called the Easter Show. The Easter Show is, it's a big carnival sort of thing that happens over Easter. It is very big, very expensive, and very crowded. I have never been. My sisters have been, and I think the rest of my family's been, but I haven't. And it's something that I realistically should go to at some point in my life, just to say I can say I've been to the Easter Show. But I don't do well with crowds. So, who knows? Maybe one day. Anyway, not the point here. They also have quite a few sort of local council shows that are sort of smaller alternatives to the Easter Show. Now, one of them used to happen in our local council. It no longer happens, sadly. Okay, so I just straight up can't buy these. Excellent. Grand. Fantastic. Right, we're going straight to the water temple in that case. We're going to see if it's unlocked, but there's also a Zora that should sell us some water bombs. We are going to do a weird thing and just dump all of our bombs in Lake Hylia, though. Anyway, do you need to find them in the wild? I'm thinking so, but I'm not too 100% sure on it. That's the issue. So we have uncovered quite a few water bomb chests, but because we just basically swallowed them all and we can't open them again. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start dumping all of our bombs. Just be prepared for me to yap while we dump 20 bombs. Actually, there's a way more efficient way for me to do this. Bear with me for a second. So, yes, they also had local council versions of the shows, and we used to go to one in particular when I was a kid. And I'm not gonna say the name of the show because it actually has the location and doxing and blah 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 blah. Anyway, huge part of my childhood. That's the point here. But because they had, like, you know, animals and petting zoos and equestrian events there, because in addition to having rides and show bags and activities, it was also a place for people to put in competitions for their crafts and their animals, and equestrian competitions and cattle competitions and all that would happen there. So the smell of horse poop was something very, very, very closely tied with shows like this. So that's why it's so nostalgic to me, because it reminds me of the Easter shows I used to go to as a kid. I'm not sure if the Easter show itself has horse poop smells around it, or if they have equestrian events or anything like that, But the local council shows, or at least the one I went to when I was a kid, definitely did. Alright. There is a Zora down here. That looks open. That is open? Question mark? That's open. Okay. We do not need water bombs to get in here. And the Zora selling the water bombs is not here. That's grand. Just to confirm she's not up here. Okay. Since my plan was to go through and check all of the chests that you can open with water bombs. However, I can't get water bombs at the moment, so let's just go in the water temple. Why not? Now, I was talking about before how much I like the forest temple here in Twilight Princess. And how, with the exception of 2 temples, the temples in Twilight Princess are among the best in the series. It's got the best lineup. Maybe I'm wasting your time, but have a go at it. What are we looking at? Are you talking about water bombs? Is that what you want me to check? I'll wait for you to confirm. Because I don't want to accidentally check the spoiler log for an item that you're not wanting me to look at. Also, let me find the... Okay, water bombs. Thank you. Thank you for that, Ducky. That's really, really appreciated. Oh, that's not it. Sorry, just bear with me for a second. I've got to find said spoiler log. No. Spoiler log. Bear with me for 2 seconds. Okay, cool. I've got the spoiler log open. Took me a second to figure out how to do that. I've never actually opened the spoiler log for this before. Water bombs. No, we've checked that one. I'm just going through and seeing all the water bomb options because we've gone through 2 of them. Okay. Okay. Okay, so the only water bombs that it tangibly says on the spoiler log are in the Cave of Ordeals as the reward for completing the 3rd lot of Cave of Ordeals. Not something that we can do at the moment. We don't even have access to the desert at the moment. So, we're not getting those at the moment. There may be some in other chests. I don't know if that's like a tangible thing or not. But thank you so much for checking. I appreciate it. Also, I can't see the chat. There we go. Oh, ew. Yeah, I agree. It would require us to go through 30 levels of the Cave of Ordeals, which we can't even access at the moment. On the upside, because we can't access it, it might mean it's not required. 20 rupees. But thank you so much for redeeming points for that, Ducky. That's very much appreciated. Thank you so much. Alright. We are going to go... We're not going to complete the temple here today. Okay, see, now we've got normal bombs again. I don't know if there's a specific moment that needs to happen to trigger us getting the bombs. The only thing that I am... The reason why I want to do the water temple in particular so much is because it triggers an event in the game called Midna's Lament. So in the vanilla gameplay, there is a particular... Again, I'm trying to make this as spoiler-free as possible for people who don't remember or want to play through for the first time. Wrong way. Yes. So there's a thing called Midna's, there's a sequence called Midna's Lament. Midna gets grievously injured, and Blink gets turned into a wolf. So they go to Hyrule Castle in order to try and see if they can find a solution. This sequence will still trigger in the randomizer. Despite the fact that we don't get the reward from it, it will still trigger in the randomizer, which may trigger the sequence that allows, it may reset the sort of sequence that allows us to get water bombs. Because at the moment, everyone, oh, there we go, okay, never mind, we're good. Everyone currently in this sort of randomizer sort of treats us as if we're still in the first area. We have no progression base. So my theory is that if we trigger Midna's Lament, it's going to put every single NPC and every single progression flag into the second half of the game, which should unlock more things for us. Again, I don't know how Twilight Princess randomizers work. I've never done one. We are literally guessing here. Alright. Yes. While we're making our way through here, let's talk about dungeons like the Lakebed Temple here. So as I've mentioned even earlier today in this video, Twilight Princess to me has the strongest roster of temples across all of the games. Now there is a somewhat noteworthy exception to this, and to me in particular, Majora's Mask doesn't have an outright bad temple. Other games have temples that I consider outright bad. Majora's Mask does not have an outright bad temple. I don't like the Great Bay Temple that much, but I can acknowledge that's because of personal reasons instead of gameplay associated reasons. My Nintendo 60, I was playing through the temple as I was going through a power outage, so I had to play it through like 4 times. Alright, Ice Trap. I should get out of the Zora Tunic. So you may notice I just took way more health than normal. In the Zora Tunic, ice and fire damage is doubled. So if you are ever playing through the game and you're like, why am I taking so much damage from, like, you know, ice physics or whatever? It's probably that. Thank you so much for the, yeah, that's right, the, ice traps. Thank you. Alright. So as a little fun fact that not many people know, you can fish the skullfish if you have the coral earring or other bait. It's a forbidden fish, so it will never be added to your fish journal. But you can technically fish it out of the water, and as it's flopping along, you can kill it. And you might wonder why you want to do that, but it's so you don't get hit while you're swimming through the water. It is technically possible to do. As another quick little fun fact, the Hylian loach is a sort of rare fish that is a big part of the fishing hole section. And it's found in one specific corner of the fishing hole, and it's treated like as this huge massive deal. Believe it or not, you can actually catch the Hylian loach in this dungeon. And when we get to the room that it's available in, I'll show you. In theory, I might show you. It depends on whether or not I can catch it. But there we go. Alright. So we're going to make our way, okay, yeah, we'll grab Uku, why not? So yes. As I was saying, Majora's Mask doesn't have an outright bad dungeon. So in theory, it should be considered the strongest, right? Yes, but Majora's Mask also has the least amount of dungeons in any Zelda game, tied with Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. not even... Okay. Tied with Breath of the Wild. I would consider the construct... I would consider the construct area of Tears of the Kingdom to be its own mini dungeon. So, it's tied with Breath of the Wild. Oof. Ouch. And even then, the Divine Beasts, we're going to very loosely call them dungeons. Anyway, not the point. The Divine Beasts suck. That's my point there. No. So, despite the fact that Majora's Mask has such a strong lineup, I don't really consider it because it has so many less dungeons that it would be... Having a dungeon, like having a game where the dungeons are all good, but there's only 4 of them is still probably less impressive than having a, definitely less impressive than having a game where there's 7 or 8 dungeons and all but 2 of them are good. Does that make sense to me? I don't know if that makes sense to other people, but it makes sense to me, and that's what I'm rolling with, so whatever. So my point is Twilight Princess has a very strong roster of dungeons, probably the strongest if I'm being honest. There are 2 exceptions to this sort of rule. There is the Palace of Twilight, which I think no one will disagree with me on there. And there's this temple. This temple straight up sucks. This dungeon is awful. I know some people like it. I fear those people. Nah, love TP water. I fear you, Ducky. And I mean that as a somewhat compliment, somewhat insult. No, I'm kidding. Hate OOT water. I will always take Ocarina of Time's Water Dungeon over this any day of the week. Easily. Ocarina of Time's Water Temple is one of my favorites. This sucks. It suffers from major pacing issues. Major route issues. Like, people don't know... This dungeon can be so samey that it gets confusing as to where you've been and where you are. And I'm hearing the irony in terms of Zelda, in terms of water dungeons and my love for the Ocarina of Time Water Temple. I'm hearing the irony, but this one's worse in my opinion for that. And it's so slow. It's so annoying. The only upside about this temple for me is good. The only upside of this temple for me is the fact that you can ride the stairs like a water slide. I like that. That's cute. Alright. But otherwise, this temple, ooh. If I had my way, we'd skip it every time. Like, I would skip it every time. The HD version, all honesty, kind of makes this dungeon even worse. And it's not for any reason that you might think. For me, this dungeon is 100% worse in the HD re-release because of the inclusion of the Miiverse stickers. These chests, I will show you the one in particular we're talking about. A lot of this temple also relies on backtracking. Once you get the claw shot, you need to backtrack for a lot of these chests and a lot of these items. There is a chest at the top of here that you need to backtrack for, and let me just say, the backtracking is not made easy. All the hookshot spots that we see on the wall there, we would need to, they're there so you can backtrack to this point, and it's not made easy. You backtrack all the way here, and in the standard release, it is for money, which doesn't seem worth it at first, but once you realize just how many side quests require high amounts of money, it's kind of required and quite necessary. In the HD version, this is replaced with a Miiverse stamp. Miiverse went offline about 6 months after the game was released. And the people making the game and Nintendo themselves knew that. So the fact that they made this, that they made this particular chest, the one that you have to really, really try hard to backtrack to, and it takes an extra like 5-10 minutes out of your way, they make it the most useless chest in the game, is so infuriating to me and makes it 100 times worse. What is that over there? Oh. I'm glad you can hear the irony. Absolutely. Look, I get it. The water temple in Ocarina of Time can be very confusing and very annoying if you don't know your way around. That's what I love about it. And it's, I get that's, I'm just saying that as an argument against this game, this temple. But to me, the difference is the water temple in Ocarina of Time is meant to discombobulate and disorientate you. This one I think is accidental, because it's just purely bad. It's so bad. I would 100% rather do the Great Bay Temple over and over again instead. Alright. The other temple that is genuinely not good in this in this game is the Palace of Twilight, and I feel like no one would argue with me on that one. It is not a very well liked dungeon with a reason. So the Palace of Twilight is, it exists. That I agree with. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think anyone could disagree with me on that one. It is fairly universally disliked. We may see the Palace of Twilight in this randomizer, we may not. Fingers crossed we don't, in all honesty. Maybe that's a bit mean to say, but we're sticking with it. The Palace of Twilight, yeah, not great. Not, just straight up not great. Essentially, it begins with two sort of areas. Oh, bugger it. Two sort of areas where you have to collect and place an orb in the correct positions. Now, to collect the orb, you need to essentially face off against Xant's hand. It's not particularly difficult or no, it's time consuming. It's not particularly difficult. It is stressful. It's not difficult. So what you have to do is Xant's hand will be holding the orb. You have to make your way to the end of this sort of passage with enemies and platforming and all of that to get to said orb, which is being held by Xant's hand. The moment you smack the hand out of the way to get the orb, the hand comes to life and chases you all the way back. With all the enemies that have now respawned. That's right, even if you defeat all the enemies, they respawn. Oh, we learned the backslice. That's very good for us. All the enemies respawn, all the puzzles you have to do in reverse order, which is arguably made more difficult. So you have to do all of this in order to be able to put the orbs back in the hand. And the entire time, the hand is chasing you. Just to add to the stress. It is stress incorporated. It's not even that difficult, but the fact that the hand is there looming, and if you do not have a perfect control of all of the platforming and all of the enemies, it can take the hand, the hand can take the orb back. It's stressful. And I don't play games to be stressed. No, I don't play Zelda games to be stressed. I play Zelda games to de-stress. On top of that, so you have to do that twice. and then your Master Sword gets powered up, and then you can complete the rest of the dungeon. The rest of the dungeon, boring, slow, painful waiting simulators that they call platforming. It's essentially just waiting for you to cross platforms like this. Yay, gameplay. It's made worse in the Palace of Twilight though, just because of the sheer amount of nothing that you're doing the entire time. You're just sitting there waiting for these platforms to slowly move from one edge of the map to the other. That's it. I will always maintain that the Palace of Twilight is bad. I wish I loved Temple of Time. It has all the aspects of that I should love. Time travel, beautiful palace style setup, but I hate the reliance on the Dominion Rod. I actually don't mind the Temple of Time. It used to be my favorite Twilight Princess temple when I was younger. And I still don't hold it as my favorite. I think that definitely has to go to, in Twilight Princess, it has to go to Snow Peak Ruins. Snow Peak Ruins is just, it's goated, it's top tier. But I still very much like Temple of Time. I feel like it's, the concept alone is so friggin' cool to me. The idea that you have a place that's considered so nostalgic and holy, and it's now a dungeon. That's so cool. The concept alone saves it. The Dominion Rod isn't great. It is the weakest part of the dungeon. I will 100% agree with you on that. The Dominion Rod is quite weak compared to the rest of the dungeon. But the rest of the temple is so cool. The music, the concept, the theming, all of it is so cool. It doesn't faze me as much as it would ordinarily. You may enjoy, if we do get to see Temple of Time in this randomizer, which requires us getting the Master Sword first, so let's hope we find that, because I also think that's a required item. If we are able to find the Master Sword and get to Temple of Time, I do believe the whole mechanic where you have to escort the giant sort of hammer bro back to the beginning of the temple with the Dominion Rod, I do believe that is made sort of moot by the randomizer. I think you start the temple with the statue being back, so you don't have to worry about returning it, which is good. So the reliance of the Dominion Rod in the randomizer should be much lesser as a result. I'm going to be honest, I don't necessarily remember how you're supposed to defeat this one. I think I remember it, but we're just going to... That's it. Oh, that's it. I forgot about this. Alright, we're just defeating these little guys. Yeah, Snow Peak Ruins to me is absolutely goated. I don't enjoy doing Arbiter's Grounds as much as other people, but that's just because... No, actually, I used to hate Arbiter's Grounds as a kid. Now I appreciate it a lot more and quite like it. But I can acknowledge the fact that it is a goated dungeon. Arbiter's Grounds is amazing, especially... There we go. Especially the boss. The boss of Arbiter's Grounds is possibly one of the best boss fights in the entire series, let alone game. Arbiter's Grounds is amazing. Snow Peak Ruins is amazing. City in the Sky, it has its pacing issues. Much like much like the Water Temple and Palace of Twilight, it does suffer from the issue where you're basically forced to just sit and wait for periods of time while platforms, or in that case P-hats, get you to the right position. But it's a smaller part of the dungeon, so it's not that bad. And as well as that, just the overall vibe of the dungeon saves it from falling into the same trap. So you got the City in the Sky. The Goron Mines is a great second dungeon. Forest Temple, I've already spoken about how much I love the Forest Temple in this game. It's literally just this dungeon and Palace of Twilight. And Hyrule Castle is possibly my favourite finishing dungeon in any Zelda game. There are quite a few really good ending dungeons in Zelda. You've got your Hyrule Castle in Ocarina of Time. You've got your Hyrule Castle / Dark World Castle in A Link to the Past. You've got you've got so many great areas. You've got the moon in Twilight Princess. You've got Hyrule Castle in Wind Waker. You have all of these great areas. Hyrule Castle in Twilight Princess, phenomenal. The vibes, the music, the aesthetic, the challenge that it presents, the spookiness, all off the charts amazing. I will always maintain that is probably the best final dungeon we've ever seen in Zelda. Oh, you also have Skykeep in Twilight Princess, which I personally hate, but I know a lot of people love. I feel like I've got a lot of unpopular Zelda opinions, clearly. Alright. That's risen the water level a little bit, which is very nice. Now we've got to go raise the water level in the other side of the map. Hopefully this also leads us. Not unpopular, just wrong. Well, that's also possibly it. Alright. There we go. That could also be it. It might just be wrong. No, that's not it either, is it? Nope, let's go. I need to go down one, I believe. Let's go down one here. That's not what I meant to do, but sure. Now can I go across this way and get down a level? See, the problem is, if I knew all the chests in here had nothing in them, I could just go straight to the boss now. The boss is unlocked and in this room available for us. I just don't know if there's anything of value in the chests here. And, of course, I can't check the spoiler lock. Alright, let's go. Speaking of chests, though, we may take some damage here in a second from the skullfish. But there is a chest right here. Again, I think we're already at our max for water bombs, but sure. Now that we're at the max, we're now starting to get more, which is super annoying, but okay. Alright. Is it this one that we want to quit? There we go, alright. This is what we want here. Oh! Quiet streams don't have to be fruitless ones. Thank you so much for the bits. That is really appreciated. Thank you so much. I really love and appreciate. Thank you. Oh, wow. That's so lovely. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Well, I'm really glad that you're enjoying it. Well, at least I hope you are. Alright. We have been told that something good is beyond this way in terms of items. Why did I do that? I don't know. Maybe let's not do that. Crap. I've forgotten how to get through this area. Again, I didn't mean to do that. I'm so distracted by the bits, clearly. Alright. Fair. Sorry, that case was gonna get me otherwise. Again, come on, game, please. Game, thank you. Alright, we've got something good beyond this point. Oh! Yeah, I'd consider that one something good, eh? Okay. I was just saying before that we need to collect the Master Sword, so hell yeah. Alright. I feel like your bits just cheered that into happiness, into happening. So thank you. Yeah, we were literally just talking about that too. That now means that we have access to Temple of Time, which is excellent. It also means a bunch of other stuff, but all good things. That's a win condition item. There we go. I was gonna say, I know I can get this one. Goaded. Yeah, exactly. Ooh. And we formed a new heart container. Arguably less important, but I'll still take it. We never complain about further health. That's wonderful. Alright. Did that automatically equip the Master Sword for us? I am... Ooh. Alright, that looks like it's automatic. Yeah, that's automatically equipped the Master Sword for us. That's excellent. So a little known fact. You can still equip the Ordon Sword if you prefer to fight with the Ordon Sword. Why you would want to do that, I personally don't know. Maybe you're doing a challenge run, but... thank you, Placehold. Maybe you're doing a challenge run. Maybe that's why you want to sort of fight with the Ordon Sword because you want to make things harder for yourself. This version of Twilight Princess has no hero mode, so maybe you want to go into hero mode, but it's budget hero mode. Twilight Princess HD introduced what is known in the game as hero mode. So in hero mode of Twilight Princess HD, in case you're unaware of what exactly that means, hero mode is basically hard version of the game. You unlock it by finishing the game in the first place. So I do believe you need to completely finish the game in order to unlock it. So in hard mode, in hero mode I should say. There we go. There we go. There is a noticeable difference in the game. So no hearts will spawn at all. So in these pots, in these pots now, there may be a heart. I don't think there is. There you go. That heart would not appear in the hard mode version of the game. The only way to replenish your health is with your bottled items, so potions and fairies and the like. It's your only way of replenishing health. If you had, if you were down a quarter of a health and had no bottled items, and you're about to go face a boss, good luck. In addition to that, you take double damage. So items that, enemies that may only deal 1 heart of damage suddenly deal 2. and that counts for full damage as well. That also stacks on top of the double damage that's dealt by fire and ice with the Zora armor. So as I mentioned before, the Zora armor you will take double damage from fire and ice while wearing the Zora armor. That stacks on top. So you're essentially taking, what, 8 times damage? Wait, no. Shit, I'm really bad at math. Times 4 damage. I don't know why I struggled with that one for a second. You're essentially taking times 4 damage instead of 1-time damage. Additionally, with hard mode, oh, there we go. There we go. So yeah, you're doing double damage. You take double damage. You get no hearts. In addition, in hero mode, some of the things like the Cave of Ordeals are just made harder as well. So this doesn't happen in the standard version of the game, but it is fairly easy to sort of emulate not in terms of game emulation, but in terms of you know, pretending that you have hero mode. Literally wearing the Zora armor, not picking up any hearts out of pots or smashing any pots, and using the Ordon sword will fairly do it well. Also, soup, heads or tails? Oh crap! I forgot about heads or tails. I'm so sorry. Oopsies. Siri, heads or tails? It is tails. Congratulations to everyone who won some reports in that. I completely forgot about that. I'm so sorry. I got so distracted by the forest temple. So, based. I love it. Congratulations to also Soup and Snecky for that one. Congratulations. Wow. I forgot about it completely. Alrighty. Alright, I'm setting up a new prediction now. So we are going to fight the boss in the next 5-ish minutes, give or take. We're going to fight the boss in the next 5-ish minutes. So the boss will either drop a mirror shard, a shard of the Mirror of Twilight, or a fused shadow. You have 5 minutes to decide which one. You've got 5 minutes to predict, I should say, which one that's going to be. Placehold redeemed roller coaster fun fact. Thank you for redeeming a roller coaster fun fact today. Okay, here's your roller coaster fun fact. There are roller coasters made of steel and there are roller coasters made of wood. That's not your fact. That's just me setting up. But did you know that there was once a roller coaster made of plastic? So it was, somewhere in the US. I want to say Philadelphia, but with a huge asterisk there, because I don't actually know. It has since closed, and not much information has been given as to why it closed, or much information about the upkeep of the ride at all. But it was a roller coaster made from PVC pipe. So the actual, the sort of structure was made of steel. But the rails and the tracks themselves, like the tracks and the carts themselves were made of PVC pipe, which is the same piping that's used in, water filtration and sewerage and stuff like that. So it was a sort of what they call a toboggan slide, which is like a little plastic, for lack of a better term, slide. With like a little plastic sheet that you sit upright on. It had a little plastic, like a little car seat belt attached to it. And you would go down a sloping sort of path on these plastic rails. It's the only plastic roller coaster ever known to have existed. And it lasted at the park for quite a long time. It wasn't something that was like a little gimmick that lasted for 6 months or something. This lasted for like 10 years, which is fairly good for a roller coaster, especially a prototype made in-house, and especially for the world's first and only plastic roller coaster. It's kind of really cool that this was not only a thing, but a thing that worked. So yeah, there's your roller coaster fun fact. Thank you so much for redeeming that. If you'd like any more roller coaster fun facts, if you'd like to see me have a bad time, or if you want some Zelda facts or hot takes or anything like that, feel free to redeem some points for it. Whoa. Is this revenge for knocking you off the edge? That's fantastic. Thank you. You're so welcome, Playsol. Thank you for redeeming some points. Alright. So sorry. I'm part of an Instagram chat. Now I have the urge to 3D print a roller coaster. That would be cool. A cute little roller coaster 3D print of Son of Beast. Oof. I have a feeling that a 3D printed version of Son of Beast would be less problematic than the actual coaster. Without context, that would make... Oh, are you kidding me? Without context, that would make no sense. But if you know the context of Son of Beast, it's quite funny. If you'd like to know more about Son of Beast, also feel free to redeem some points for that, and I will tell you all about one of the world's most problematic roller coasters. Not problematic as in it's inappropriate. Problematic as in this should have never existed. How did this exist? It was, again, not in the inappropriate, you know, sense, but in the this was an engineering fail on epic proportions kind of issue. Son of Beast fun fact, please. Oh, you actually redeemed a roller coaster fun. I never actually saw that. I'm so sorry. Yeah, Son of Beast. Oh, okay. So Kings Park in the US Kings Dominion in the US has a fantastic roller coaster, very well acclaimed roller coaster, built in the 1970s. It was either 1974 or 1979, called the Beast. It still remains to this day the longest wooden roller coaster in existence. And by all accounts, it is considered one of, if not the best wooden roller coaster. I guess outside El Loco, but still, El Toro, but still. It is considered a fantastic roller coaster. But I'm going the complete wrong way. What am I doing here? The park, Kings Dominion, wanting to sort of recapture the hype and the popularity of the Beast, decided to commission a new roller coaster called Son of Beast, which opened in 2006. Yes, 2006. Now, Son of Beast was faster, steeper, and designed to be more thrilling than the Beast. Designed to be literally the big bad. And it was the big bad, but probably not in the sense that they anticipated. It was just bad. That's probably not a great way to describe it, but you get the idea. So Son of Beast started building in 2004, and it was at the time already raked with huge issues. So I can't remember the name of the company that built Son of Beast. They are now bust. Give me 1 second. They are very much bust. It was the Roller Coaster Corporation of America that built it. They were already known for sort of shoddy building, cutting corners in terms of building, and just generally not being all that great. So when they were when the bids to build to build this dungeon came up, this roller coaster came up, Roller Coaster Corporation was picked against everyone's better judgment. Now you might be wondering, if they had such a bad reputation, how on earth did they get picked to build a prestigious roller coaster? Simple answer is they severely would severely underbid. Like, when I say underbid, they would turn around and say, alright, we can get this roller coaster done for a quarter of the cost of anyone else. And while that may have been true once upon a time, the point is, it was never really they may have turned around and said, yeah, we can build this for a quarter of the cost, but realistically, halfway through building, they would sit there and go, actually, we need more money. So they would undercut their budget to win the bids, and then they would ramp up the prices after the fact. So, allegedly, I'm not looking to get sued here. So what happened is, they bid to build the roller coaster. They were the cheapest, so King's Dominion went with them, allegedly. And from there, the roller coaster building process started. All is good so far, right? Well, halfway through building the roller coaster Corporation of America was fired from the project for shoddy workmanship, running over budget, under time, all of the bad stuff. Anything that could have gone wrong for the park did go wrong for the park, essentially. And they got fired halfway through production, and the park themselves was left to try and finish the build. At this point, because of sub-quality materials, bad design, and generally not great engineering, the ride was a colossal hot mess. At the time that it opened, it was the fastest, tallest wooden roller coaster in the world. It had the steepest drop of any roller coaster in the world, and most notably, it was the only roller coaster in the world to have a loop. So it had a loop-de-loop on it. It was that was the big selling point, the fact that it had this big loop. Now, the big loop was reinforced with steel. It was still considered a wooden roller coaster, but it was reinforced with steel. Ironically, the loop, which was the big part of the big question mark of the ride, was ultimately considered the smoothest part of the ride because of its steel reinforcements. The rest of it was built so badly that it was janky, very shaky, and was subjected people to being thrown in their seats. So being thrown side to side, not out of their seats, but like being thrown side to side, leading to injuries and bruising and just an altogether not great ride experience. So the loop-de-loop was the first ever roller coaster inversion on a wooden roller coaster since the experimental rides of the 1800s. And again, that loop was more or less a success. But after a accident on the roller coaster where part of the track, no one was injured, no one was hurt, nothing worse happened, but part of the track actually collapsed in on itself after some bad weather. They realized that the strain that was being put on the track because of how rough and awful it was actually causing great harm to the roller coaster, and that's part of what caused the track to collapse in on itself. So in order to reduce the strain on the tracks, they installed smaller, lighter trains, the trains being what they carry people on. Unfortunately, as a side effect of this, the trains could not generate enough speed, because they're lighter and smaller, they could not generate enough speed to actually go through the loop. meaning that the smoothest part of the ride and the most historic part of the ride was removed. They removed the loop-de-loop. Unfortunately, the ride was considered really boring without the loop. And what's worse is it was also considered really rough and really uncomfortable. And after an incident where the train jolted and 26 riders were sent to the hospital with minor injuries, it was closed again. And then following that, a woman claimed that the ride gave her a major chronic injury. The roller coaster was finally shut down, both because they couldn't guarantee the safety of people, and also because the ride was so bad and was so unpopular and had such bad publicity surrounding it that they realized that it was losing money. So after about, I think it closed in 2010, so 4 short, horrible years, the ride finally closed down. And you might be thinking 4 years still isn't that bad. Roller coaster lifespans, like a roller coaster should realistically last about 10 years. There are roller coasters that have lasted longer, there are roller coasters that have lasted shorter. But generally the ones that last shorter than 10 years last shorter for a reason. So that's the short but kind of not great history of Son of Beast. That's a very heavily condensed version though. But thank you so much for redeeming a fun fact there. I hope you enjoyed that. If I can suggest anything for you, there's plenty of videos on Son of Beast for you to peruse. Defunctland in particular has a great video on Son of Beast. Theme Park Crazy has a great video of Son of Beast. A lot of people do, but Defunctland and Theme Park Crazy in particular I can heavily recommend. And they go into way more depth than I do. With a lot less rambling too, I should specify. Alright, it is boss time. I do not like this. No, I don't mind this boss. It's not great, but I don't mind it. You may also notice that I missed about 3 chests. If I'm being honest, if we get really stuck, I'll come back for them, but I don't think... We got told that there was one important item here in, we got told that there was one really important item here in, the temple, and we got the Master Sword. I'm assuming that's probably it. So unless we get really stuck, we're probably just not going to stay here. Yeah, I get it. I just really wanted to see what she says there, because I've never actually talked to her there. For the most part, I've just ignored her. Alright, we want to get the eyeball. Does that put us into second phase already? No, okay. I was gonna say, that's kind of wild. So, normally at this point of the game, we do not have the Master Sword. We're still working with the Ordon Sword typically at this point of the game. So, because we have the Master Sword, I'm expecting this fight may go quite a bit quicker. But I am not entirely sure. Again, we have never really seen a... Are you kidding me? I moved myself back instead of the controller. We have never really seen a Twilight Princess randomizer before, so I'm assuming it would go faster by logic, but we're still figuring it all out. Alright, come on. Where is it? Okay, we are on phase 2. Alright, so the Master Sword does actually make this process go quicker. Normally that's a 3 cycle there. Normally that's a 3 cycle process. So it is going quicker, which is kind of cool. And also great, because that first phase of the fight sucks. It's this second phase that I actually do enjoy. You may notice a little pattern with the bosses that I really enjoy. Standing and slashing your sword is great and all, but it's the boss fights where you're chasing something or something's chasing you and you're actually taking like more physical action and moving around a lot that I really enjoy. So if you think about Goat and the boss of Arbiter's Grounds, whose name evades me at the moment, and this, you're chasing something down, which is really cool. Where are you? There you are. This boss fight here is also why it's pretty much impossible to do this dungeon without the Zora armor. Alright. Where are you, mate? Let's go. This will be it. Alright, we are done. Also, I don't think I said it. Thank you, Placehold, for redeeming that fun fact. If you want more fun facts about roller coasters, Zelda fun facts, anything like that, please let me know. And I didn't forget, we are actually going to see if this is going to drop a mirror shard or a piece of Twilight or a few shadow as well. So 78% of the points went towards this being a mirror shard, which is very interesting. 22% of people think it's going to be a few shadow. Let's see what it is. Also, I really love the fact that you love the dancing Deku emote, Ducky. 10 out of 10. And because the game likes to tease me, we just got water bombs. Alright. What are we gonna get here? Fused Shadow! And that's the one from the Forest Temple. In all honesty, I was expecting it to be a mirror shard, but Fused Shadow, there you go. Congratulations to Placehold and Ducky for that. Excellent. I would have gone with that being a Mirror of Twilight, so congratulations. Alright. Shall we go? We shall indeed. Alright, again, this will set off a cutscene trigger for Midna's Lament. I've never actually rolled around this area before. You do give hearts, that's kind of nice. Keep in mind, we don't actually get hearts at the end of this dungeon. Normally you get a heart container. We got water bombs instead. Look, as I said, we're going to do an Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask combo randomizer after this one. But we might come back to Twilight Princess after that, or we will definitely come back to Twilight Princess, I just don't know when. When we do come back to Twilight Princess, remind me to pick a better colour for the Zora tunic. I set it to random and I'm regretting it. Alright. Damn, that's cool. want to see me to take an ancient with a power like this and turn it against me? I don't know why you're sounding so British. You are a foolish traitor, madame. Why do you defy your king? Sorry. Oh, okay. I'm just not gonna voice act anymore. Alright, we're just gonna play this cutscene out. We can technically skip it, but it's a really cool cutscene. The TP storytelling is literally goated. That's it. This is genuinely the peak. Skyward Sword, if you love Twilight Princess's storytelling, Skyward Sword is something I can heavily recommend. My midnight, did you forget? It's so creepy, I love it. Genuinely creepy. I love it. I get chills. Alright, yeah. Oh, wait, hang on, this piece of Okay. Yeah, the storytelling in Twilight Princess is literally goated. It is fantastic. Phenomenal. 10 out of 10. I love the storytelling. I love the cutscenes. I love the way that the story is told. The pacing is phenomenal. 10 out of 10. The only game that sort of... That froze for a second. The only game that sort of beats it, and... Not beats it. The Zelda game that closely matches it in terms of storytelling is Skyward Sword. I don't think Skyward Sword is quite as cinematic, but the storyline is phenomenal. The gameplay... Skyward Sword does face its pacing issues. That's the problem. It faces some pretty severe pacing issues. But the storyline is so wonderful. The interactions between Zelda and Link in particular are incredible. Link in particular in Skyward Sword, it's probably my favourite version of Link. Just because of how expressive and how interesting he is as a character. 10 out of 10 no-nos, genuinely. I'm going this way. Let's go this way. So if you do like Twilight Princess, and you've never given Skyward Sword a chance, or you gave Skyward Sword a chance but didn't enjoy the motion controls, I would 100% recommend you pick up Skyward Sword again, or at the very least go check out its... At the very least, go check out the cutscenes online. So a lot of YouTube users do what they call cutscene movies, where they put together all the cutscenes to play out like a movie. Phenomenal, 10 out of 10. You won't be able to view all the text box and dialogue options that way, but you'll at least be able to see some of them. But the Skyward Sword HD fixes a lot of the issues with the motion controls that were apparent in the Wii version, and it also has a button control version if you don't like the motion controls. Although, if I'm being honest, give the motion controls a chance in Twilight Princess. They are Skyward Sword. Give the motion controls a chance. Because in the HD remake, I think you will be pleasantly surprised. Both saw most of them real despite them being silent for them. You just know what he's saying by keeping it. That's exactly it. Thank you so much for letting me know, Ducky. I turned up the sound on the cutscene and forgot to turn it back down. That's it, kind of embarrassing. No, that's just me. So yeah, no, you know exactly what he's saying in both games. You know exactly what he's saying, what he's meaning, every intention, because of how well they communicate it, despite Link not being a communicative character. Communicative. Words. It's quite incredible. And Skyward Sword in particular just does it so well. Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess in particular just do it so well. Alright. We are going to do Midna's Lament here. We are going to do this cutscene and then we are going to finish for the evening. Beast, get out! We are going to do this segment here with Midna's Lament and we are going to take off for the night. It's already 9:30. I don't have work in the morning, but I've got plenty of things to do. And if I'm being honest, my voice is also giving out. Alright. Hello, Louise. Alright, we're just skipping through all this text here. No work. No, I start my new job on Tuesday, which is very exciting. I'm so excited. I'm so over the moon. I am very, very keen to get a hold of this new role and really, you know, make good things happen. I'm very excited. That starts on Tuesday. So tomorrow I am, again, too poor to do my... Normally I go through my a whole, like, you know, exciting self-care routine where I go get a facial or, you know, get my nails done or get a pedicure or get a massage or whatever. I'm too poor to do literally any of that. I am very, very broke. But on the upside, I know how to do the majority of it myself now. Haha, that dropped on the platform that... Oops. Oops. I can't give myself a back massage, but I can go sit on one of those, like, really cheap massage chairs for a while, I guess. And, you know, I can give... I've taught myself how to give myself a bitchin' pedicure, and I can do my own nails and my own skincare, and I'm excited to have, like, a little self-treat day, just to sort of make sure I'm fresh and feeling relaxed, ready for the new job. I actually went out with my mother today, which was very nice, lovely time. I went out with my mother because I was like, oh, well, I might as well go shopping and see if I can find a new work outfit with the very... Oh, are you kidding me? With the very little money I have, I can go find a new work outfit. The OG meaning of treat yourself because you can't pay someone else. That's exactly it. Honestly, vibe. It's a good thing I've developed a steady hand over the years for my own pedicures because otherwise I'd be paying out the nose. Yeah, I went out with my mother today I was like, oh yeah, I'll use the last of my money to sort of buy a nice new outfit for work, and very nice of her, lovely lady, she insisted on paying. This is what I was trying to show off. They actually react if you knock down pots. And if you knock down too many, he actually notices you. That's kind of a cool detail. Not many people know that. But yeah, so I went clothes shopping with my mom today, and she insisted on buying my outfit for me, which was very cute. Which also meant I could buy petrol, which was even better. So now I have a new outfit for work. It's really cute. I look like a B-grade pirate, but in a corporate way. I don't know how to describe it. Maybe I'll put a photo up on my Twitch story. I don't know. It's quite cool. literally destroyed half the pottery up here. And they're like, what's that sound? Alright. Let's continue on. We can finally get through here. Alright. This is where we finally meet Giovanni. And we already defeated the Poe in here. So I need to move. Alright, let's just go. Let's go. So yeah, no, I had a lovely day out with my mum. It's been a while since I've had just a nice day out, just her and I. So, and we went to the outlet malls and it was like really fun. She and I went to a cafe afterwards and she had like this really nice pear and hibiscus slice with a coffee and, ooh, very nice. I'm just making myself hungry, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of forgot to eat breakfast this morning, and then because I had coffee out with my mum, I didn't eat lunch, like a full lunch or anything. I just had that slice. Which again was very nice, but you know, it's not technically a proper balanced lunch. So by the time that I got home later in the afternoon, because I sort of hung around my parents' place for a little bit to say hi to my beautiful little niece. And by the time I got home, I was like, oh, it's like 4:30 and I haven't eaten at all for the day. So I had dinner, but when it's your first meal of the day, like first full meal of the day, no matter how much you dish up, you're kind of still hungry afterwards. So I'm thinking I end stream and I go get more food. Frozen pizzas are lovely this time of year, right? Oh, there's the torch. Alright. Alright, come on. There we go. I remember, again, I've talked a lot about my experiences of being a young teenager playing this game for the very first time with my family. This game in particular, like this section here, especially with that spiderweb that we just burnt to get through the building, that in particular, we really struggled with for the longest time. In fact, I think it took us about half an hour to realize what we were supposed to do there, because we just didn't even see it. And by then I hadn't actually gotten to that point in the walkthrough by myself. Alright, nope. Stupid. Alright. Just as a slight reminder, we are finishing up stream very soon. We are essentially going through this room and then going through the room at the top of, we're getting up to Zelda's room and watching the brief cutscene there, and then we're ending stream. So if you have any roller coaster fun facts, Zelda fun facts, anything like that that you want to redeem your points towards, you don't have much time. You have about 7 minutes. Just to let you know. Alright. To be honest, I don't know what playing this cutscene through really nets us. Apart from the fact that we, almost fell off the edge. Apart from the fact that we just got to see that guy fall through the floor for a second there, I don't strictly know what this nets us. I'm excited to find out if it nets us anything. I didn't even do anything. It just fell off. Okay, sure. No balls. Alright, come on, let's go. No, get back up. Get back up. No, get back up. Okay, bye. And we can just sort of crawl through the door. Normally, in the first time you go through the Twilight, you have to do the whole hopping section. Midna can't actually do that for us. Stop falling. There's a sexy hot goblin to save. That's right. That's exactly right. Thank you for the pep talk and the reminder. Sometimes I just gotta remember that there's a sexy hot goblin to save, and that's what we're doing this for. Sometimes we forget what the point of life is. It's to save a sexy hot goblin. Oh, balls. That was the wrong timing! You know how you told me to stop falling? Oops. At least we got some money out of it. I wish I was a sexy hot goblin. Same, honestly. Same. I've got the goblin part down, but the rest of it I'm not so sure about. Alright, there we go. Redeem, ban sexy hot goblins. Am I banning myself then? Van sexy hot goblins. We don't have any vans in the shape of sexy hot goblins, so we're fine there. Alright. Let's go. I thank you for banning sexy hot goblins. I'll have to ban myself. I'm kidding. Alright. We are going to watch this cutscene out just genuinely because it's a good cutscene. I'm not going to try and do the voice acting. I'm getting too happy by the thought of it. So there are only 2 cutscenes, despite being such a iconic song in the franchise. And considering that this is so similar to Ocarina of Time. This song, Zelda's Lullaby, only plays 2 times in the entire game. It's also just such a beautiful rendition of the song. You must help, bro. So, at the time, while we're watching this cutscene, and feel free to read, I'm not going to read it out, because I feel like after the my attempt of doing Midna's talk of I'm not going to do it anymore. Oh, she's telling us about the Master Sword, you know, the one that we already have. Bro, hero sent by the goddesses. Sorry, I keep getting distracted here. We're going to talk about what I was talking about in a second. Fine, bro, you can get to the woods on your own, right? Everyone's just so chill. Wait for the music to cut out awkwardly. Not awkwardly, awesomely. Mimics midnight. That's right. The fact that the music cuts out, oh, 10 out of 10. It's so good. Hello, Muffy. Okay, we need to talk about the fact that they sandwich Midna's theme very organically in between the strands of Zelda's Lullaby to sort of to show that they're cosmically intertwined, and it is stunning and beautiful. Mimics Midna says won't do it again, does it again to show that she won't do it again. That's right. That's how I roll. That's how I work. That's just it. That's how you have to do it. We go back, bro. Back to... Alright. Excellent. Bloody autocorrect. Or autocorrelation. That's a new one. I hope you're enjoying your autocorrelation on your phone. Alright. So we have finished that and finished Midna's Lament. There is one thing I do want to quickly check. Two things I want to quickly check. And then we're going to end stream. So first and foremost, I want to see if this actually unlocks the Midna's spin attack for us. Because we haven't been able to use that as of yet. That's kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie. So at the time of its release, just while we were watching the last of this, at the time of its release, Twilight Princess was heavily criticized for being a carbon copy of Ocarina of Time. People saw it as Nintendo intentionally trying to sort of freaked me out as a kid. Same, actually. What the yellow borders around Hyrule Castle? Same. I did not enjoy looking at it. There we go. It's finally unlocked the spin attack. We have not had access to this the entire time. Even before Midna's Lament, we did not have access to this. So I wanted to see if it would automatically unlock that, which is nice. Okay. Second of all, we're going to quickly warp to Kakariko. I just want to see what flags have been set by Kak. Yes. So, Twilight Princess was heavily criticized at the time of its release as sort of Nintendo trying to recapture the initial awe and glory of Ocarina of Time, but without calling it Ocarina of Time. It was seen as a carbon copy of the game. Again, we're sniffing at Epona's butt. It was seen as a carbon copy of the game with no personality of its own because it was so clearly just trying to emulate Ocarina of Time. Nowadays people are seeing its own identity and the value of its own identity, but at the time it was heavily criticized for that it was heavily criticized as just being a game that's trying to be Ocarina of Time and trying to scratch at nostalgia as a selling point. The absence of Zelda's lullaby in the game, I have directly contradicts that, if I'm being honest, but you know. Okay, here we go. No, I still can't buy them. Is it because... Do I have to buy that in order to... Are you kidding me? That is so stupid. So it wasn't some flag in the in-games, it wasn't some flag that we needed to set off in-game to see if we, you know, we didn't have to do Midna's Lament to get all the bomb bags. That's what I was thinking. It's like maybe the randomizer is messed with the in-game progression flags. No, it's literally we had to buy a bomb bag or buy a red rupee for 120 rupees before it would let us do anything else. That was it. We had to buy that red rupee. That is so stupid. Literally the stupidest thing I've ever heard in this game. Look, don't get me wrong. I know Twilight Princess Randomizer is still in its early days, but geez, wow. Speaking of which, just quickly while we're just quickly checking one last thing. We've now gotten a good portion of the way. Screw you, game. We have now gotten a good way through this randomizer as is. I will say, just speaking on some of my thoughts about the randomizer, we'll go more into depths of them once we've finished it. But just as one of my thoughts on this randomizer, it is so much easier to figure out a cohesive sort of narrative of the randomizer. That's not the word, like, that's not what I'm looking for, but it's easy to determine the correct path, which is a good thing. So once we found the Gale Boomerang, that led us to the Zora armor, which led us to the Master Sword, which will allow us to Temple of Time. There is that set narrative in place, and set logic in place that sort of leads us to the correct areas. By comparison, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask combined randomizer, I don't know if it's because of how the randomizer is built. I don't know if it's the logic. Maybe it's the fact that it's 2 games in one. It doesn't have that same easy to follow sort of logic. And it's something I do appreciate of this randomizer. It does make it a little bit easier, but especially considering this is the first randomizer we've done, I think that's a very good thing. And I'm very much enjoying this randomizer because of it. But that's just my very brief 2 cents. Anyway, we're gonna leave it here. That's the point. We're gonna leave it here. We've just finished the Water Temple and Midna's Lament. Next time we're gonna go through the Temple of Time. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us today. Thank you to everyone who redeemed points. Thank you to Ducky for cheering those bits. Again, I really appreciate it. That's so wonderful. So thank you so much. And thank you so much to all of you for just joining us today and, you know, genuinely having a grand old time. Let's find someone to raid quickly. Can't read them. Wait, I'm hearing... Wait. What? Word. Thanks, Selbel. Wait. What's up, Soup? Hello, Soup, by the way. Welcome in. Oh, so sad I haven't been able to watch. I've been working all day. Oh, no, that's okay, Soup. Am I waiting for a reason, or... Wait, did you finish the Gamba? Yes, I did. Placeholder and Ducky won the last Gamba. So, yes, we did finish that. Thank you for reminding me. See you later, Salbao. Have a good dinner. Thank you so much. Alright, let's find someone to raid. Sorry, my thingy glitched. You're all good. Bye, Salbao. Thank you so much again, Ducky. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Alright, we are going to Ocarina of Time with a personal favorite of mine and a Ocarina of Time legend. Let's go see how Runner Guy is doing. Don't forget to share some love. Give him a follow. Say hi in chat. Spend some time there. I don't know. You might find something that you really enjoy. But thank you so much, everyone. Have a lovely night, and I will see you next time. Bye.